big fan of HK firearms for 30 years. All the way from the P7 handgun or the HK 91, 93, 94 MP5 USP handguns. I mean, there's just a lot of different products that really drive HK to where they are today. This is the HK P30. You can get it with the 15-in-1 with 9mm or 13-in-1 and 40. And so before we get started, let's go ahead and take a look, make sure we're safe. Here we are. This is a hammer-fired pistol, which, you know, we're seeing more and more of the striker fires, especially in a polymer frame. But this is a reinforced glass polymer frame. It has a really ergonomic feel to it, and we're going to look a little bit more at the interchangeable back straps and side panels that can be replaced, which is really unique. The grip itself is really ergonomic, and of course that adds to accuracy, it adds to your confidence. The slide is a nitro carburized steel milled from one solid billet of steel. Very corrosion resistant. In fact, it's what they call the hostile environment finish on it. It is a nice matte finish. It actually says blued finish on the HK website, but it's really black with just a hint of blue. But the pistol itself is just a beautiful design. The slide is just extremely well engineered and very nicely executed. Cocking serrations on the front and the back, which are fairly aggressive. You have your HK P30 here, and then of course the caliber on this one is the 9mm. Now the pistol is fully ambidextrous, and you have your slide release here and on the other side, and then it has the magazine release, which is a paddle design, which that's really big with a lot of your German guns. Now I'm really accustomed to using the magazine release here, but there's something about this little paddle release that I really like. You do have to adjust your grip just a little bit to get to it, but it is really solid, and of course it's ambidextrous because it's on both sides. The only thing not ambidextrous on this pistol is your ejection port. It has a Picatinny accessory rail on the front. Now on some of the HK pistols they have a proprietary rail only for HK products, but this one is Picatinny, so you can put any of your M1913 accessories on here. It has a nice squared trigger guard, has serrations on the front, and it is large enough to accommodate gloved hands. Even with gloves, everything's accessible. Because of the way that these controls are, it's really easy to be able to manipulate and to get your finger in the trigger guard. The length of the barrel is 3.86 inches. It is a cold hammer forged barrel, and it does have polygonal grooves, which really add to the length of the life of the barrel, and plus it adds to velocity because there's less drag as the bullet goes through, and so it's really going to hold up well. One thing you don't want to do is to use a lot of lead reloads in these barrels because it builds up in the polygonal grooves. It does have 3-dot sights, very low snag design. These are luminous sights, they're not tritium, and one of the things that they purport is they don't use, they're non-radioactive. So these are just painted on, but they do show up really well at the range and in low light conditions. In low light conditions, your sights are going to show up well. Here's a little SIG P290 with tritium sights, and the illuminated sights actually stand out more than the tritium. Look at the sights on that. It's got the, they're illuminated. They're not tritium.
Wow, they look good.
Yeah. It does have 3 different sets of back straps, and it has side panels, 3 different sets. And one of the things I specifically like is they're marked. Which one's large? These are medium. They're marked with an M right here, the large, and obviously the smalls are too. And even the side panels, right and left, and it has the size right here marked. Of course, this is going to make this almost like a custom pistol. You can fit it to however you want to. 3 different back straps, 3 different side panels. That's a lot of combinations. Now to remove the back strap, make sure the gun is unloaded. Right here is a pin that pushes through. Just take your punch, pop it through. The back strap comes right off. The panels slide this way, so the back strap holds them into place, and then they're easily changed. Replace the back strap, slides into place. Slide the pin back into place as well. This also gives you a lanyard point right here. With the pin out, you can put a lanyard strap in and then put the pin back in. The ergonomics on the grips are second to none in my opinion. They do have finger grooves here, but they're very natural. A lot of times when I'm grabbing pistols that have finger grooves, I always feel that my hands don't fit right. And that's one of the things about this, because it's so soft and the way it's lined up, it just really fits very well in the hand. You can see the texturing here. It's almost like a very small little stipple, and it's not aggressive, but you can feel the texturing, and it gives you a sure grip when firing the pistol. And in wet conditions, this would also aid. You do have it across the back, and then of course with the finger grooves, it's in each of the panels. Now, I typically like a very low bore axis on my pistol, and really it gets up there far enough to where you can get a really good sight picture. And the recoil system itself, though, is what I think makes this pistol. HK has its own proprietary recoil reducing system. And I'll tell you what, guys, it's just a soft shooting, flat shooting handgun. Now, this is the LEM version. And one of the things that I love about this is it's double action only. But I'm going to show you a couple of things about the trigger pull. This is one of the things that once I got this pistol, I fell in love with. Typically, when you have a double action trigger pull, it's long and drawn. And that's no different from this pistol. It's hard. In fact, it's a really heavy trigger pull. And then you pull the hammer. But one of the things that's different about the HK is once you charge the pistol and you put a round in the chamber, it sort of half cocks this system. So you're always going to have a very consistent trigger pull. It's always going to be the same. And it's going to be really sweet. Watch this. You have a long draw, but then you have a really crisp little pull. On your second shot, again, it's just a really smooth feel to it. Now reset. If you'll watch the hammer and the trigger, it resets the hammer, comes out a little ways. The reset's a little bit long, but when you consider that you still have a lot of travel this way, it's still about a third, I guess, forward. But checking the reset, not too bad. You do have some trigger travel once you get past it. But I'll tell you, it really, out on the range, this was a really fun gun to shoot. And the trigger pull itself, you don't even think about it. And really, it's so smooth, it's really excellent. But with the double action only standard models, with the decocker back here on the back and a spurred hammer, this is really a long trigger pull if you ever have to decock. And so that's one of the things about this pistol, is you never have that really long, hard trigger pull for double action. It's pretty much every time single action, or at least a single action feel to it. Now they do make the P30S, which has a standard safety here so you can carry it cocked and locked. And you know, if you do need to shoot double action, you are going to have that long trigger pull, but if you're going to carry it cocked and locked, you do away with that anyway. To me, the LEM version is the best of both worlds. And I would highly recommend, before you buy any versions, to take the three and lay them out together and try them side by side. I think that you're going to find that you're going to really like the LEM version over the others. But one of the main things about having a hammer-fired pistol is your second strike capability. If you pull the trigger and it's a dud, you can re-pull the trigger and fire the round. That is the only time you're going to be able to fire this pistol in that long double action mode with a round in the chamber. So, and then of course there's going to be a problem. You're going to be glad to have that round fire. And of course, because of that bobbed hammer, you don't have anything protruding out of the back of the pistol. Now, as far as durability with these pistols, they recently did a test. They shot 91,000 rounds through a P30 without any major malfunctions, and that's fantastic. The pistol weighs just a little over 26 ounces. Your Glock 19 weighs about 24 ounces. It's just a little over 7 inches in length. The height is just a little under 5.5 inches. The width of the slide from the farthest point is 1.37, and I think a lot of that has to do with the slide release. It does stick out some. One of the advantages that I noticed out at the range, without changing my shooting grip, I can hit the lever and charge the pistol. There is a loaded chamber indicator right here on the extractor. You can barely see the red, but it's really flush to the slide. We're going to take a dummy round. Here you can see where the red sticks out just a touch. That's not only visible, but it's also tactile. So you can feel this and know that the chamber is loaded. Now, disassembly on the P30 is incredibly simple. You're going to want to get your slide with this notch right here at your slide release. So go ahead and pull your pistol back, push through on the other side. You don't pull it all the way out, so it retains in the pistol, and then let go of the slide, and the slide will come right off. You also don't have to manipulate your trigger to pull the slide off, which is an advantage. Here's a look at the interior. Here you have your recoil spring and guide rod. It also has a nylon bushing, and this is part of their recoil reduction system. The barrel is a Browning tilt barrel design with the polygonal grooves, and again, it is cold hammer forged, which is an excellent process for barrels. The interior of the slide is extremely well finished. No tooling marks. Man, this slide is just a work of art in itself. Reassembly, just return your barrel. Make sure that your recoil spring, the little hook, fits in the bottom. It goes against your barrel. Return it to the slide. If you're not careful, make sure you keep the back of the slide down, and then you're going to want to get that notch again right here to your slide stop. And once you do, you can just push it into place. You're ready to go. And I also like the fact that there is no magazine disconnect safety. Now, to give you a size comparison, here is the Glock 19 and of course the P30, and I'm going to show you the differences in as far as how these guns stack up. As far as length, with the barrel protruding, it's pretty much the same, the Glock 19 and the P30. As far as height of the pistols, the Glock wins out. The P30 just extends a little bit, but it's probably about a ½ inch. Now, as far as width of the slide, the Glock is 1 inch, the P30 is 1.37 inches. A lot of that has to do with the slide releases. But really overall, very comparable to the Glock 19, which this is actually a Glock 23. Now, down at the range, it was a lot of fun to shoot. Very ergonomic, felt great in the hand. The recoil reduction system was really just very smooth, and it showed up very well. Just had a lot of fun. In fact, I carried quite a bit of ammunition down there, more than I thought I'd need, and I went through every bit of it. I just couldn't quit shooting it. So I really had a lot of fun with the P30. And I'll tell you guys, the only downside about this pistol for many people is the price. And these typically run about the $970 range, $950 range. I have seen them for around the $850 range at certain places. But I'll tell you guys, one thing about a good quality pistol is you spend the money and it lasts a lifetime, 2 or 3 lifetimes. You pass it down. And really, for the quality of this pistol, if you have the money, I think you're going to really enjoy the HK P30. I know I am. Of course, you can buy yourself 2 Glock 19s for the price of the H&K, and I have 2 Glock 19s, and I still bought the H&K. I've always loved H&K firearms, especially the rifles. Had a lot of experience, and then when the USP came out, really loved that pistol. But it was pretty large, and really with more of concealed carry, I really wanted something smaller. And so when the P30 came out, I've been wanting one for a good while. But of course, the price is not cheap, but you get what you pay for. I'm gonna tell you what, guys, once you try one of the P30s, you're gonna be in trouble, and your bank account is gonna dwindle, because this is an incredible pistol. HK P30, thumbs way up. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. That's just cool. I love that. You don't have to nip. HK has their own proprietary recoil system that's HK has its own proprietary.
Oh yeah, baby.